The acquisition of Twitter. Twitter was a very, think about where it's based and how it was run and all the things we've come to learn about the company and its sort of political leanings. It was very much the antithesis of the Musk approach. You talk about that in the book.
And he had become, over the past 3 or 4 years, he's edged from being what I would call a center-left, somebody who donated to Obama and voted for Biden, to somebody who has become, I think, far too worked up about what he calls the woke mind virus, the progressive mindset that he sees in colleges and in schools. Multiple reasons, which I go through in the book.
What's the most important reason?
The most personal reason is he had 5 older children, teenagers, surviving. One died in infancy. And the oldest of them was named Xavier, after his favorite character in the X-Men comics. And Xavier transitions and sends a note about 3 years ago saying, I'm transitioning, my name is now Jenna, and don't tell my father. Now, he gets his head around the fact that she transitioned, and he loves her, but she becomes very anti-capitalist, very woke, hates all billionaires, thinks capitalism is theft, and rejects him and changes her last name. And this causes him an enormous amount of pain, and he partly blames it on Los Angeles, where you live sometimes. There's this very progressive school she went to called Crossroads. And that was one of about 7 or 8 factors that led to this political evolution where he felt the progressive left was overdoing COVID lockdowns, was overdoing gender ideology questions. In some ways, it echoed his father, who was also somewhat conspiratorial in his thinking and didn't believe in vaccines or Dr. Fauci. And it's a weird evolution that we still see reverberating in the waters of Twitter today.
You say that it caused him a tremendous amount of pain, that Xavier transitioned and is now a woman. How do you know that it caused him pain? Well,
he said so, and he's easy to read, even though he doesn't read people's emotions well. I mean, he will say, nothing has caused me more pain, he says this outright, than his daughter rejecting him. Not transitioning, but just totally rejecting him, other than the death of his first child in infancy. His first child died. And he gets very dark, and, you talk to his sister, you talk to his brother or his brother's wife. They say that's the thing that's caused him enormous personal pain, and he says so.
Going back to when he acquired Twitter, I, as a great fan of what Elon has achieved and the service that he's sort of served to humanity with some of these companies like Tesla and SpaceX, I was really hoping he didn't buy the company because I thought it would just be a great distraction from really important other things.
100%.
You were there, right? At the time.
I was there. So I'm sitting, he had just opened Giga Texas, which is the largest factory manufacturing things. It's a Tesla factory in Austin, Texas. We're on the mezzanine. The factory's not even open yet. I guess this is April 2022. And he tells me that he still needs more drama in his life. He can't accept the fact that he's now become the richest person on earth. He's Person of the Year for Financial Times. In Time, he's sent up 33 rockets that year that landed safely and were reused. And yet he says, okay, I'm buying Twitter. And his brother, his son Griffin, we're all like his friends, 3 or 4 friends, is like, is this a good idea? Aren't you going to be distracted? And everybody is sort of trying to talk him out of it. I'm not, because I'm just taking notes. I'm just the observer. But I'm thinking, boy, this is a bad idea. Not simply because it'll be a distraction, but because you don't have, I'm thinking of Musk, he doesn't have human emotional awareness. And so I asked him, why are you doing it? He said, well, it's a product problem. They need better engineering. They haven't put any new features in. They don't have full motion video. So it's an engineering challenge. I'm thinking, no, Twitter's not an engineering product. You've been through all these before. It's an advertising medium. It's supposed to gather eyeballs for advertisers in a friendly environment. And that's not Elon's specialty. So I think it was then and is now both a distraction and does not play to his strengths.
Did you see it at any point, and do you believe it will hurt the trajectory of Tesla and SpaceX in any way, that acquisition?
I think that it probably hurts his reputation, especially among more progressive people. It obviously has hurt, which means it probably has hurt Tesla's sales. As for SpaceX, I don't think it matters too much. He has been able to be intensely focused, including, I mean, just today while we're taping this, I think he's doing the 40th launch this year of the Falcon 9, sending up 20 more Starlink satellites. He launched Starship and got it all the way into space with all 33 Raptor engines working. And he's down there intensely focused. So I think SpaceX is okay. I think Tesla will be okay, but it'd be better off if he weren't distracted by Twitter, and B, if his reputation hadn't become 10 times more controversial, which is not great if you're just trying to do a mass market car sales.
When he went into Twitter, one of the very alarming things that he did was there was rumors that he called everyone up to the top floor and said, "This is going to be the new company culture. If you don't like it, go."
Absolutely. I mean, I was there. I walked in I was there the day before he took over. He marches in. And I think there's a whole chapter in the book almost in the rapid change in corporate culture that happened, something you're very familiar with from companies you've dealt with, which is there are two extremes of doing a company. One was the way Twitter was, which is nurturing and sweet and having yoga rooms and artisanal coffee bars. And when Musk walks in, they're showing him how we have quiet spaces for people who need, to get their mental energy restored. And they said, we value psychological safety. And Musk looked at me and kind of did his raspy laugh. Says, psychological safety, blank, screw that. An urgent intensity is our operating principle. Psychological safety is our enemy. And so he turns it into a hardcore all-in environment where you have to say, I'm all in. You're going to work 24/7, some weekends, because you're all in. And he said, I want a team that's 20% of the size, but that's an order of magnitude more intense and more all in. And you've probably seen companies with your own eyes who are very nurturing, and you've seen companies in which everybody's doing a hardcore all-in hackathon on a Saturday night, and he's in the latter camp.
If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch this channel, please do me a huge favor. Become part of the 15% of the viewers on this channel that have hit the subscribe button. It helps us tremendously, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests.